Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Binman and today you are tuned in for a really fun look. This is a great daytime, cool toned party look. Has a little bit of glam, a little bit of glitter, but not overly too much, so a great one for any daytime gathering, daytime festivity this month. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe and stay tuned. I've already washed my face into my skincare, so let's get started with the tutorial. First, I'm going to neutralize using the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. And just a little bit on your ring finger will do the trick. Just quickly placing that all the way from the lid up to the brow bone, but not into the brow hair. And you can see it just really cuts down any discoloration that's going on the lids as well. Sometimes I also like to bring it into this inner corner just to get rid of any discoloration there, especially around the holidays when it is just go, 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 go. I'm going to do a little color correcting with Bobbi Brown as well underneath the eyes. Just really lightly tapping. This tapping motion will also help drain your under eye as well. And then I am going to put a little bit on that inner corner just to really make sure that I'm brightening everything up. If you feel like you did a little bit too much, then grab a nice fluffy concealer brush like the 57 from Sephora or even your Duo Fiber and just blend out those edges a little bit more, and it'll just start to melt into your skin and you'll grab any excess that maybe your fingers didn't grab. You can also bring that up onto the lid and make sure that there's no excess there as well, because we do not want excess silicone hanging out on the face. Otherwise it can distort the eyeshadows, especially if you're using powder. Trust me from personal experience, I know. So now we're going to go in with the Satin Kajal liner from Victoria Beckham. And just a little tight lining. So really lightly pulling up on the lid or just kind of flipping it. And then that just gives you a more defined lash line. Now because this is a Kajal, it is going to move around a little bit. So if your eyes are really watery, you might want to try a different product. If you're having a not watery eye day, this is superb. You can also use it on the lid as well, but I do really like it in the waterline. I think once it sets, it stays beautifully. So I want to continue kind of setting up my complexion. However, I am using Satin Taupe and I feel like in the Connect in Color palette, the Satin Taupe does kind of flick off a little bit, so I'm not going to do my complexion, but I do want to do my brows and I also want to put on my lip so that I don't go overboard with the eyes. So just filling in my brows with the ANASTASIA Brow Wiz, with the brow definer. Just really quickly, because we are in the holiday spirit, but it is also, maybe it's for a work event, maybe you just want to become holiday spirit with your makeup, but it still needs to be quick and impactful makeup for daytime, right? Because we just don't have the time, especially as women, because we run the world of holiday, don't we? I can play with my brows a little bit later if I feel like I need to, but right now I want to get into those eyeshadows, especially because we are using Satin Taupe. So here's a quick eye palette tip. I've spoken about this before in a short, but just for a quick recap, you want to think of your eyeshadows as groupings, and if it's a really well thought out palette, someone will have thought about which colors go really nicely together. In this palette, these 6 are warmer, these 6 are cooler, so they're going to play really nicely together, and these 6 will play really nicely together. You can think of them as trios. You can also think of them as quads as well, depending on how fancy you like to go with your eyeshadow. So we are going to be playing with these 4 eyeshadows. Again, before we get into the eyeshadows, I want to put on my lips because the lip is a little bit stronger. This is called Sunday Matinee and it definitely has more pigment than the other Lisa Eldridge lipsticks I usually use. However, I like this one because it's a pinky nude, so sometimes it's nice to start your day off with a little bit more pigment. Pop on a gloss, take that with you, but at least you know that you have a lip throughout the day that will pretty much stay. I also really appreciate that this pink picks up the pink in the plaid shirt that I'm wearing as well. I'm going to go on top with Charm because I want to lift this pink a little bit. You can see that already lifted the Sunday Matinee just a little bit. Before we go in with the rest of our complexion, we're going to go in with the eyes. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is Cozy Gray. I'm going to take my Sonia Kashuk tapered crease brush and I'm just going to place that all over the eye. We are just going to be building one shadow on top of the other. And I'm going to bring that into the socket and then just do some windshield wiper motions right into the crease. So a little bit above the socket so that you can actually see it. It's nice when you're playing with lighter colors on the lid to sometimes put down a matte shadow first because powders cling to powders and it just feels like there can be a little bit more of an impact, especially when you're building a dimensional eye. So now I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of satin taupe. I want to save my lighter shadow for after I do satin taupe because I want it to really pop. So just really lightly with my 217, I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to put it on the outer third. And then start to bring it up into the socket and into the crease. And you can see this is a beautiful kind of minky gray. A lot of people used to use this shadow for smoky eyes and it is a beautiful smoky eye all over the lid with a darker liner. That is a gorgeous way to go. But I thought since we were doing a daytime party look that a lighter lid made a little bit more sense. Now at the end of the day, if you wanted to pop on a little bit more of satin taupe all over your lighter lid, that's a great way to transition from daytime into evening. So we have a really good kind of base going on. We don't need to do final touches just yet because we haven't done any of our complexion, but I am going to go in with a BK Beauty brush. So this is the 203 into our lightest shade. Again, just really gently tapping and putting that right on top of the Cozy Gray that we put down on the lid. And I'm just going to meet up with satin taupe and have a little conversation, maybe even bringing that a little bit on the inner corner. However, again, I know I'm going to be putting on concealer, so I don't want to do final touches. You can see the placement of satin taupe has just made my eyes look ginormous, which is awesome for party season, right? We are going to add a little bit of glitz with Les Artistes at the end of the tutorial. So now that we have the shadows that could potentially have some fallout, let's do our complexion and we'll go back to the eyes. So this is kind of a bounce around tutorial just to make sure that we have everything in balance that we need. I'm going to do my fan shape underneath my eyes. It's not a strict triangle, it's a lot softer than kind of how we were teaching a few years ago, and especially again for a woman of a certain age or for anyone with really defined bone structure, especially in the cheek area. Going a little bit softer is going to help soften the structure of your face unless you want to pop that, and then you definitely want to do really strong lines in your makeup, and that's how you really pop that. But if you want to soften anything, make sure that you are doing soft lines. It makes a huge difference, especially in photographs. The camera just seems to see everything that you've done. Even if you think you've hidden it, it will show up on there. Trust me. Now we're going to go in with the Seemless Skin Foundation from Lisa Eldridge. I'm just going to do one pump and kind of see where that gets me. Sometimes when I do my eyes first and then go back and do the complexion, I find that I use so much less product just because the focus is on my eyes and my lips. It's not really on my skin. And sometimes when you're doing more of a done eye or a done lip, it's kind of nice to wear less foundation, especially again if it's during the day, because it doesn't feel, it feels more genuine. It feels more like you can see a little bit of your skin peeking through. it doesn't quite feel so filtered. And then just whatever was left on my hand, taking that up onto my forehead. And then again, just making sure I'm really buffing everything in. This is a super soft brush. I want to make sure that everything is blending. And then if I have anything left, I'm just going to bring it down a little bit onto the neck. It's holiday season. We're going to add a little glow because not only is it getting a little bit cooler, but it's just nice to glow. It's nice to glow pretty much all year round, I think, except maybe in the summer when you can get a little too glowy. So I'm taking Elevated Highlighter from, again, Lisa Eldridge, of course, and I'm really just tapping that in, but you can see just a little bit of that cheek glow. Now, Lisa likes to put this on underneath foundation. I like to put it on top. It's just a personal preference. Play with both, see what you like. She says it takes about 3 minutes for it to set, so we want to kind of leave that alone. So what I like to do is jump back to the eyes and kind of finish that up so everything can sit, and then I can see again if I need to balance anything. But just putting on a little bit of foundation, a little bit of concealer, everything is starting to talk to each other and make more sense, and it doesn't feel overly heavy makeup. I'm going to take my angle brush into Chocolate Shimmer because, again, this is a daytime look. We are attending a party. We are feeling festive. We are just going for it. I'm going to find my lower lash line, just do a little kitten wing, get right up to that lash line and do little dashes. The Chocolate Shimmer plays really, really nicely with the satin taupe. Now, if you feel like you're not great at eyeliner, go back in with a pencil brush into a darker eyeshadow and just really lightly go over that line. Smudge it out just a little bit. You have a little wiggle room, not a ton, but a little bit, and it will soften it, and it'll also add a little bit of longevity. Okay, so here is the point in the tutorial where you can put on mascara and you can walk away happy, looking great, maybe add a little blush, maybe a little bronzer, depending on what's going on. Or you can go in with another coat of shimmer. So we are gonna go in with Les Artistes, and we are gonna grab it on our ring finger, making sure that our ring finger is nice and clean. And I'm just lightly going to pop that on the ball of my eye. And it just creates an extra layer, an extra something on the eyelid without going full on sparkle, but you still feel quite glamorous because you have a little bit of a sheen going on, and it's a nice three-dimensional eye look. So now I'm ready to put on mascara, and then we'll go back and finish up the complexion with powder and doing any touch-ups that we need to do on any other parts of the face. So going in with Smokey Eye Mascara, you can absolutely go in with your primer at this point. For me, because I've been doing so many tutorials, it just felt like my lashes needed a little rest. And so I'm just wearing mascara for a few days before I jump back on the primer train. But even just by itself, Smokey Eye Mascara is incredible. So sometimes when makeup has been sitting on our face and we kind of finish one area, you'll feel like some of it has disappeared. Something that I like to do, if again I'm really trying to define my eye, is go back in with either my medium or my darkest shade and just put an extra layer there, and it just makes everything pop a little bit more. So now we are ready for powder, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to grab my blush powder brush, and I'm going to morph it into a couple different kinds of brushes just by how I'm holding it and how I'm utilizing it. If this was a client, I would use a smaller brush, but on myself, I know how the contours of my face really, really well, and I can really use just one brush to really just go for it and knock out that center of the face glow. I am going to put a little bit on my cheeks. This is the Ambient Lighting powder, because I've noticed that with all of the oils that I've been using, my bronzer has been kind of clinging a little bit more than I would like to in spots. And again, powder clings to powder, so if you feel like that's happening to you, again, because of a skincare change or dietary change or whatever, just try to put a little bit more powder on in those areas, and that should clear it up. I'm going to grab a little bit of Sweet Enough blush, which is a really nice dusty mauve, rose, Wedgwood color. So many words to describe the same thing, because I want the lips to really be the pink thing on there. If I went in with Pretty Pink by Bobbi Brown, that would probably be a little bit too much for me. If you really like that youthful cheek, I say go for it. For me, I want the lips to stand out more than my cheeks. If I hadn't gone in with Sunday Matinee, then I would switch up my cheeks and just do the gloss, and that would be a really beautiful, youthful look. But if I want the longevity, I need to layer my products. So now we are going to finish up with Contour Sculpting Powder by Natasha Denona with the BK Beauty Bronzer Brush, and just quickly doing that bronze contour just on the periphery of our face, underneath that cheekbone, sweeping up onto the cheekbone, kind of melding that in with our blush, just so that we have a little bit of structure to the face. And then I am going to bring a little bit down onto my neck as well, just so that everything is feeling really nice and cohesive. And that is the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching this daytime party glam look. As the weather changes, as our fashion changes, the colors that we wear, the colors that we're attracted to change as well, and a cool toned party look just makes a little bit more sense than a warm toned one, especially when a lot of us are going to start wearing lots of blacks, dark purples, dark greens, things like that that have that cool undertone. And again, this is a great look for any daytime event that you have, any gathering that you have. It's just a really quick party glam look to get you in the holiday spirit. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday, and make sure you are following me on the shorts and Instagram for more tips and tricks to make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more glossy. Give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!